No, right.
Well, my thought was you got shouted out by Elon Musk, so your popularity had to have gone up, which
Bro,
would've...
it didn't. I didn't get enough new followers.
What was that?
It was like, oh, do you think white people can be racist or some shit? And then I was like, oh, no, it was like, do you think you're being racist towards white people? And I was like, no. And then Elon Musk was like, oh, but white people were slaves first. And I was like, nobody really cares, though.
I mean, that is true, though.
What? Nobody really cares, though?
Yeah, think about it. If you're in a room and you say, like, white people are slaves first, I doubt anyone's going to be like, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like,
we're in the United States. I don't think...
Well, it's probably because we don't care about reparations.
Wait, so hold on.
Yeah, they were. Like a small portion.
They were. Like every race has, so it like...
Wouldn't
but I do think white was
Wouldn't
first.
that point towards a privilege if black people complain about the racism that they experience and it gets cared about? Wouldn't that point towards a sort of privilege? But
look at all the shit that they be having to go through in ghettos. In ghettos, that's primarily black. Like, all that shit stemmed from fucking slavery. But, like, yeah, there's white people in ghettos, too. But, like, it's just not as much statistically. You know what I'm saying?
I strongly disagree with that. I feel like you end up in life where you are based on your choices. Everybody has a choice every single day to do all different things. Like, the family that I came from, I don't feel as though my life reflects how I grew up. So it's choices.
I mean, everybody has their own resiliency. You know, I see the same thing, like, especially in my new job now, I see kids who, like, come from these broken homes and they're like, I want to be better, I want to be doing this. But there's a lot of kids who also are like, I'm fighting, I'm this and that.
Well, it goes one of two ways, right? You either see how your parents are in the life that you're living and you either follow the path, or you say, this is not what I want, and you go the opposite direction.
It is really hard, though, for a lot of those kids that are coming from households and to go that opposite direction, because all that they're seeing is one thing. So it's really hard for them to go and seek that help, because everything that they're doing right now they think is right. So that's why I would say
it is not impossible, though.
No, of course it's not impossible. A lot of people, yeah, it is the American dream, but a lot of people are born into families where they are set back, way more set back than a lot of other people.
Well, we don't believe in equity, so if you believe in equity, then that would make sense, that line of thinking. But because we believe in equality and not starting from the same point, but the end goal is the same point, you shouldn't booster somebody who, yes, may be less privileged, but that's their choice to rise above.
Okay, then let me ask you a question. Do you think it's more respectable of someone who was born a millionaire to end up with still $1 million, or somebody who was born with $0 and ends up with $1 million?
Will you restate the question?
What's more respectable? Somebody who was...
who worked for it and earned it, for someone who inherited it?
That's not my specific question. My specific question is, what's more respectable, somebody who was born with $1 million and died with $1 million, or somebody who was born with $0 and died with $1 million in their bank account?
Well, if the person was born with $1 million, still had to work to keep the $1 million. So yes, the person who was less fortunate had to work, I would say, harder to get to the point.
So which is more respectable is the question.
I think it's respectable that they both worked hard. I think it is very respectable that somebody did work from poverty all the way to $1 million. That's absolutely fabulous.
Do you think they worked harder, or do you think they worked less?
Probably harder.
Yeah, but that's what I'm. That was kind of my point. It's just that these kids, for you guys to say that, just because this person, they had a harder life, well, they should have made the right decision. It is harder for a lot of other people to make the harder decision, to make that decision. So
the decision is to work harder.
It's harder for you to make that decision, but you still chose to make that decision.
What is this kid gonna do if they can't pay for the food on their table? Yeah. Is that kid you're just gonna you think that kid should make the cognitive decision to go and mow some lawns, and so that they can get $8 so that they can pay for their dinner that night?
Of course not. But
that's what I'm saying. So
that falls on the parents. But again, okay, we're saying that they have bad parents. That's right.
I think that you guys don't understand. There's so many bad parents out there. Parents that are drug dealers, parents that are prostitutes, parents that are hookers. There's all of these parents I know so many people that have had parents and they grew up in these situations, and it's so sad to see and look back at it, because there's so many things. Yeah, they could have made a better decision. I have a friend, her mom's a stripper, and she's always been fucked up or whatever, what everybody else would say is fucked up, but she is still, at the end of the day, she was really nice. But then I look at her and I'm just like, dude, I didn't know she became a prostitute. And then once I saw her, and I was like, it makes sense, because her mom was a stripper her whole life. Yeah. What other direction is she supposed to take when her sister's a prostitute and her mom's a stripper?
So the other direction that you could take is, there are many different things in many communities that help children in bad homes.
How is that child supposed to know where to go, and how is that child supposed to know that there are things like
I think they have to have at least one good influence.
Yes,
somebody had to have been an influence in their life.
And that is why some people
How is the child even meant to know that what they're going through is wrong?
Yeah.
They have nothing else to compare it to.
You're totally right, because those kids who have a mentor, those are the kids that really do make it out from poverty. Yeah. It's the ones who have a mentor.
That's the whole point of having a community. That's the whole point of having communities specifically looking out for children. We're not denying that. Of course, there should be communities looking out for children. There's all sorts of different uneven circumstances, of course. But what we're saying is when that child can still make the decision when they're 16, whether or not to have sex, or whether or not to do drugs, or whether or not kids at that point, they are aware of right and wrong. Like that's,
I wouldn't
They're
say
aware
so.
of right or wrong, but you have no idea how strong their neural pathways are by that age already.
well,
They're
for sure,
so
but you still
set
have
in
the
their
ability
ways
to
that
make
it takes
choices.
you almost as long as you've been alive. Like, if you've lived that way for 16 years, you're going to have to spend 16 years unlearning all of those
unlearning
behaviors.
everything,
Yeah.
Fixing what your parents
Kids
fucked
don't
up.
learn that. That's stuff you learn as
And
an
that's
adult.
what you have to choose.
Well,
You have to
as an
actively
adult, that
choose
is your responsibility. To,
yeah, but you
to make
can't
the
do
correct
that until
choices.
you're an adult.
Can't or makes the
You
decision
don't
not
have.
to.
You don't have.
You don't have like even the
I mean,
knowledge to
yeah,
even
if
like
your parents, like,
understand
are
that you
drug
have to do
dealers.
this. So for example, like I have a friend who literally has no idea how to schedule a doctor's appointment herself.
Well, that's the failure of the parents, and the parents should be called out for
Exactly.
that.
I know,
Yeah.
but okay, so
It's
again,
the
you're saying
failure
it's
of
the
the
failure of the parents. I know that, I understand that you're saying it is the failure of the parents, but it is, I think it's unfair for you guys to say that, well, this child could have chose this direction in their life. And
I
that's why
wasn't
the way that-
necessarily
that's like the
speaking
reason
to
why.
children. I was
grace.
speaking
Yeah,
about
I
adults
underst-
because
I
at some
understand.
point you realize wrong and
Of
right,
course,
right?
yes, but
so
there is
when
a-
you hit adult age, like when you hit the age of adult where you can make decisions for yourself and you're still choosing to do the wrong thing or go down the wrong path, whatever that may be, you came to a conclusion that that was wrong. And when you have full autonomy of yourself.
Okay, so a 16-year-old who is
That's a child again. I'm
that's
talking
still a
about
child.
adults.
Well, of
Okay,
course
I know,
there's
but
grace
don't,
for
don't you think a
children.
16-year-old's decision? 16 is almost 18. That's almost a grown person. So it's like, well, if that person is at 16 years old and they make the wrong decision in 2 years, their life can be fucked up. So by the time they're 18, they're an adult, right? They should have made the right decision. That's what I'm trying. Like,
Well, no, that's what I'm
these
saying.
childhood decisions lead up to the adulthood decisions
Yes,
that
if
they're
you,
making.
again, if your parents put you on the wrong path, this is what you chose. By the time you hit adulthood and you take a step back and you look at your life and you say, I don't like the way this is going. Yes, I've made these choices to get there, then
Don't